Hello, everyone. Thank you for clicking in, scrolling in, sliding in. They're doing our man Donald Trump wrong. Nothing new, but I'm just talking about it. I'm just like, man, that Jack Smith guy, he's somebody else. I really don't understand how a human can act like that. It's almost like they're possessed with some kind of, I don't know, alternate reality or program. You reckon these? I would call that the lizard person infection. But to see somebody like Jack Smith operating under the fashions, or better yet, like a Stacey Abrams, or a Hillary Clinton, or a Bill Gates, or a George Soros, or an Alex Soros. By the way, Alex Soros has this really weird premonition that they're being outspent in money. There's I read an article earlier. And just to kind of sum it up, but he's like, I would like to get money out of politics, but looks like we're going to have to just stay in it with this money situation, because if the other side's doing it, I've got to keep doing it as well. And so what we have gotten ourselves into is a perpetual pissing match to see who can raise the most money. The only problem is, though, is the circumstances to raise the money can be somewhat questionable, so you have to go by a lot of laws and ethics and all this stuff. However, whenever you have a human element behind it in a portrayed majority, then those ethics and business moves or write-offs can be somewhat questionable, and to the extent to where you'll find people like Donald Trump in the situation he's in. That's what I was talking about earlier. A little off subject of what we got going on. Ooh. Oh, Donald Trump. I didn't even mean to get on this, but it did tie into what I'm getting ready to talk about. Mike Pence. I'm going to show you a video of somebody who went to one of his rallies. Sometimes you got to take one for the team, guys. You know, you got to have a good wingman that's not afraid to get in there and, have to go do one for the home team. And this woman here managed to stick it out through a Mike Pence rally, and she got to ask him a question. And I want to show you the question that she asked him, and then we're going to presenting his answer, and then I'm going to say, hey, wait a second. All right, get ready. Here we go.
For your vote, we would not have Joe Biden in the White House.
Right.
Joe Biden shouldn't be there. And all those wonderful things that you and Trump were doing together would be continuing, and this country would be on the right path. Do you ever second guess yourself? That was a constitutional right that you had to send those votes back to the states.
The Constitution of the United States in Article 2 says the job of the Vice President is to serve as the presiding officer of a joint session where you open and count the votes. Don't take my word for it. Go read the Constitution. Not really. I say this with great affection and respect. The Constitution is very clear. My job was to oversee a session of Congress where objections could be heard, and I made sure that objections would be recognized. So we would hear whatever evidence or whether debate there was, but the Constitution says you open and count the votes, no more, no less. The Constitution affords no authority for the Vice President or anyone else to reject votes or return votes to the states. Never been done before, should never be done in the future. I'm sorry, ma'am, but that's actually what the Constitution says. No vice president in American history ever asserted the authority that you have been convinced that I had. But I want to tell you, with all due respect, I said when I announced, President Trump was wrong about my authority that day, and he's still wrong.
All right. So, why did Nancy Pelosi actually make an amendment? They did an amendment in Congress to actually make sure that this would never happen, that this could never happen. And there was a lot of legal scholars who said that there is that he has that power to do so. So, he could have said, "Hey, I think I got something going on here. Let's check this out." And so what would have happened was, if they would have done that, maybe we would have gotten it straightened out. What would have been the legal recourse if he was not able, if this wasn't some kind of power that he had, then would there have been criminal charges that could have been placed upon him? Could there have been civil charges that have been placed on him? Could there have been some kind of lawsuit that has to do with the censure that was placed on him? Or better yet, would everything came to a stop right then and said, okay, all right, so you think you have this power. We're going to have Supreme Court justices look into this and then they would have, you know, even if they say, for instance, because there was a lot of things that were happening that were coming to light, we needed just a little bit more time to get up to the table and get out on some of the underground media that we all have to run, because mainstream media will not get the message out. That would have helped a lot and possibly been able to get some of the legal people that made all these terrible rulings and legal no standing. They would have possibly maybe looked into it. Something could have happened. This could have changed the course of everything. Even if he didn't have the power, they could have said, let's look into this. We're going to check it out. And if the Supreme Court justices would have said, okay, yeah, it looks like this is what the Constitution says. It looks interpreted that way. Have at it. Send them back. Check them out. It wouldn't have took them long. This would have been moved. I mean, as important as this would have been under a fair system of people really trying to run an honest government, this would have been like the next day. Okay, I'm sorry. We're going to have to put some of these cases on hold. Today we got to look into this because there's a big deal that just happened. We got a lot of signed affidavits and people that are willing to take what they say into the court of law, which could convict them of perjury and have them incarcerated. So they're willing to put themselves out here. Obviously, there's maybe some kind of claim to what these people were talking about in 2020. And so at that point now, what Mike Pence has done is I don't see why he's even running for president. There's just nothing. If there are people who like him, and those are your normal run-of-the-mill Republican people, and those are not bad people. They're probably not as informed and don't quite understand the uniparty system that has been laid out in front of us. But that's what we have, or that's where we're at. This is how people feel, and so there's going to be a part of this whole situation where Pence is more or less just splitting the vote. He's not really, if you're going, if you don't have him on the table, then those people usually will either go a different direction. They'll we're trying to get Trump back in. I think he's the guy that can fix a lot of this stuff. I think that he's the guy we need to do to finish what was really started, not what Biden said when we said we need to finish the job. He wasn't lying about that. And also when they're a threat to our democracy, when it's the people behind the podium talking, they're not talking about you guys. Our democracy means you're back. Our democracy. So all this information is a threat to their power structure. Okay, power structures are strange, and you can easily find yourself way up in the form of that. Usually, people would be rewarded by their merit. They would have a good work ethic. They would be intelligent. They would make good decisions, and they would find themselves in a place, in a high-class job or a powerful job. And then you've got people who work their way up in other methods. They've figured out that, if they want to be a video girl, they don't have to really know how to dance. They don't really have to sing. They just need to be at the right place at the right time. Speaking of that, our wonderful Kamala Harris has placed herself in a lot of right places at the right times. She was able to bump elbows with a lot of the people that were a lot of people who were like Montel Williams, Willie Brown. You can, if you don't believe me, all you gotta do is just go back and look into some of the stuff that Judge Joe Brown was talking about. Dude, let me tell you what. Oh man, Judge Joe Brown is based when it comes to just talking about these things, because he's I don't know what his political affiliation is, but he's not just one of these people who goes for one person. He can see the BS and he can talk about the BS. And speaking about talking about the BS, here comes some BS. By the way, it's the AI czar, the person who's in charge of artificial intelligence. Okay. What is she talking about? Is it like... I don't know what this whole conversation is about, but I almost wonder if it's some kind of cycle that they're riding. Like a menstrual cycle. I don't know. What are they talking about? What is that? Comes in the morning.
Express the way we feel about the moment in terms of just having language and a connection to how people are experiencing life. And I think about it in that way too.
Kamala Harris, I think about it as well a lot. Just just as much as you do. But that's, by the way, she's not only, this woman right here, stunning and brave and super, super awesome. She is not only the AI czar, but she is the border czar in charge of the border. I don't know if anybody, let's do a throwback Friday. Throwback Friday. Biden, what was it, 2 years ago today almost, 1 year and 8 months, said, I've got somebody that's in charge of the border who's going to do all the stuff needed to go to do what they needed to do the border. And it's going to be Kamala Harris. And then she got on stage and asked everybody not to come. Do not come. I repeat, do not come. And those words rang true for many years. But it was too late because they came. But anyways, check this out. We've got a lot of other things happening behind the scenes. And there's a lot of heated questions that are being thrown at these. Like you've got Press Secretary Karine-Jean-Pierre, who pretty much probably was the most honest I've heard her in a pretty good while. Check this video out.
Hi, Karine. Can you speak about the crimes that the president's son committed while he was in office?
So look, again, I have to be very mindful about not talking about certain things. I can't talk about the dozens of hookers that Hunter Biden hired. I can't talk about all the crack and Parmesan cheese he smoked. I can't talk about the M&Ms he put on his penis so his dead brother's wife could eat them. I can't talk about his pedo obsession with his niece. I'm not able to talk about that. I can't talk about the millions of dollars Joe and Hunter took in bribes from China, Russia, and Ukraine.
Whoever did that was a genius, by the way. That's what we want to hear. We need to hear that from Carrie Jean. If she would bust out and do that when asked the question instead of like doing all those lies and diversions, not only would she bring back some integrity, but bring back some shame, and people would be like, wow, you know, could you imagine how famous she would be if she actually started, because everybody could see what's going on. We know what the deal is with that. We know what that powdery substance was and whose it was and how it got there. The reports of it being in the library allegedly aren't true, by the way. It was actually found in the Oval Office. Allegedly. I got to say that because mainstream is not going to report on that. And they're going to try to fact check that. But just check this out. That the fact of the matter is there is a huge cover-up taking place when it comes to who's and why. There's a reason for that because of plea. Imagine that you're given a plea bargain saying, well, we're not going to press the gun charge. We're going to let that slide, and we're going to, because he's in rehab and he's in remission and he's trying to get his life straightened back out. And if this was found, and it says, oh, it was on, there's no telling how much was found. Did anybody see the footage of Hunter on that out there on that patio thing? And then if you watch that footage, I don't have the video of it now. I do this. I don't script any of this stuff. I just start talking. And there's no telling where I'll go. And so, but there is video footage out there. If you watch Ashley Biden and watch her rubbing all up and down on her dad, I mean, I don't know if anybody saw that or not. But if you do a little bit of research, go on the Twitters and search in the Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's 4th of July celebration, you're going to see a footage of Ashley comes up behind her dad, which is the old decrepit Joe Biden, and starts rubbing all over his body. And then when she does this, I mean, I thought, Jill's standing beside him. I'm like, there's no way Jill's arm is all, dude, real handsy, no joke. And then turns around and goes back into wherever they're at, and then starts like bebopping and dancing, and she's there, and that party was crunky crunk. That's all I'm going to say. Them fools was throwing down. And that was a thing. So anyways, I just wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on. I really appreciate everybody for watching these videos, and I thank you so much. The channel is doing well over here, and it's great, and I'm so thankful for everybody. And I'm thankful for the country I live in. Not hating on America. I'm just trying to make it just a little bit more American. That's all. And we're all Americans, and that's what we want. We want to be fair, and we want as mostly balanced justice system as possible. And that's about it. So let me slide out of here. We're going to wrap this up. Wrap it up! And I just would like for you to all to please just hit the like, subscribe, and share. Send this stuff out. Show the videos. And just take care of yourself. please do that. Thank you very much. I'm out.